Hello! Now before we get into this video, here is today's sponsor, Semtex. Nah, I'm kidding, bro. I don't even have 1,000 subscribers. I don't have a fucking sponsor. Just go to the video. Now before we start, I have to say that this video was made to highlight some of the new but mostly old issues that are troubling our beloved game. I have no intention of trashing the game or speaking negatively towards it. Also, I am going to be reading this from my screen because there is a lot written, so just stay with me. Some of these problems unfortunately do have to be addressed for the future of Conqueror's Blade. I think this game has a very unique feel to it. I love the entire concept on how they united the RTS elements with RPG and kind of just married them into this MMO that is Conqueror's Blade, you know. However, the game is over 2 years old now and it is at its 8th season. One would usually expect this to be a drilled game with some bugs located here and there and only a few problems that are being taken care of. Unfortunately, this isn't really the case. Regarding bugs, I'd say one of the biggest problems still not being addressed is unit veterancy lines not working properly or are just outright bugged. Why I think this is a huge problem? Well, you play Conqueror's Blade to command units, right? Imagine grinding a unit for 2 weeks, leveling it up to elite status, just to find out that the elite bonus you wanted to get doesn't even work. And this doesn't even apply to the new seasonal units, because so far most of them were already expected to be bugged. This goes for units that have been in the game for much longer than that. And from a new player's perspective, that can be very disheartening and just outright irritating. And that is the point of this video. We are trying to get the new player's perspective and try not, just tell my games to just fix your game, so we get more new players, so you can make the game even better, you make more money out of it and, make the game even better so we can have even more fun with the game, because that's how games work. Unit bugs aside, we also have seasonal runes with season 7 and 8 that were and are bugged and are not working at all, which can be crippling to your favorite class. Imagine your favorite unit and class are bugged. We also have bugs during matches where a player can randomly become immortal, which means you can't hit him, however, he can hit you. And no, this isn't hacking, since most of the times only you can't hit that player, other teammates can. So if you charge with your units, all you can do is hopelessly watch him kill off your units one by one. This bug also occurs in duels. We talked about unit upgrades being bugged. Well, units themselves can get bugged. Also, whether they randomly decide to follow you into battle, where they're going to die 100% and they are archers or, arquebusiers, refuse to go to a supply point, or refuse to come out of a supply point. Matchmaking, another very problematic aspect in Conqueror's Blade. It's not perfect, that I can say. I mean, let's face it, it's very few games have an effective matchmaking system. However, usually games balance. So for example, both teams have a group, kind of seems like a no-brainer, right? Especially in RTS games where a group of 2 to 3 players can drastically turn the tide of battle, let alone 5-man pre-mate. This also happens in death matches, and honestly, there's nothing really you can do in cases like that unless you have 5 random gods that know exactly how to play the game in your team. Personally, I don't care if this happens, since I will change my tactics and stay away from the pre-mate members. But for new players getting into a game, you are starting to be good at it, finally you're starting to learn the game. And then you just get steamrolled from nowhere in a few games. And that can really, again, be very disheartening. I really think it's a no-brainer in matchmaking. If a team has a group of 5, then the other one should have it as well, Like, if they don't have if you can't match 5 groups with each other, then just don't put them in a match. Another lovely aspect of matchmaking is that it is mostly seasonal, meaning you're going to be paired with people having a similar seasonal rank, at least in theory. We still have a lot of games where green users go against purple, which basically means if you are a new player, the only time you should be playing is mid and late season, where the veteran players have jumped up 3 ranks from you. This feature makes the game as a new player or even a mediocre one unplayable at the start of a new season, since it will basically be territory war difficulty with all of the top player in the same lobbies as you are. Okay, so spawn killing is frowned upon in any game. I have also done it many times, guilty as charged. But this is a huge problem for Conqueror's Blade, since being stuck in a game where you will be chased down for 6 minutes or even more, with little to no chance of getting any kills, and adding to the fact that if you leave you get a 10-minute cooldown from matchmaking, is, well, pretty boring if you ask me, which is something games really shouldn't be, ever. Simply put, if the enemy team runs out of all troops, you could vote to forfeit the match or have an automatic loss in, let's say, 30 seconds if your team's units would be lower than, let's say, 90, which means you have 6 units per hero, which is basically nothing. You can't do anything with that unless you already capped the base circle to half at least, and the enemy team is running very low on units as well. Like, basically, if the enemy team has, like, if your team is below 100 and if the enemy team is 300 or more, I think the game should give you an option or something that you could just forfeit the game, because just sitting there and being killed for 6 minutes or even more is no fun. Like, not even from the killing side, because you just chase heroes and kill them off. Like, once you do that a couple of times, it just gets boring and you just want to, you know, start a new match and get it over with. Game-changing lag. If you played Conqueror's Blade for a few matches, you know by now that the servers do have a serious problem with connectivity. Many enemies will teleport and you will teleport, and it's basically a portal too. It may be funny or fun, even advantageous in certain situations, but that's not how the game should be played. Honestly, that's something any game can't really afford to have, since it will hurt it drastically. When it's your fault for lagging, that's fine. It happens, you know, shitty, bad internet, whatever. But when the world chat in a game is full with people saying that they are lagging, then it's a problem that the game really has to fix, like, in a month max, maybe 2, not in like a year later, 3 years. These are problems a 2-year-old game really shouldn't be having, and honestly, in my opinion, will not get to 5 years if they don't finally address these problems and improve on them, such as every company should. And we didn't even delve deep into all of the problems. Like, I just wanted to highlight one of the main problems that I think Conqueror's Blade is having for a while now, that are kind of hurting the current player base and kind of just smashing the new player experience for the game. I hope you still find time to play Conqueror's Blade and enjoy it. After all, it is a very good game with an amazing concept. I personally really love it. I played it when it first came out. Every time I play it, I just get hooked in it again and again and again. And I would really hate to see it die just to the lack of maintenance and, you know, just care being showed to the game. Thank you guys for watching. Please press that like button and subscribe to see more. And as always, I'll see you next time.
Chillin' with mine, we triple up, they on a double up, triple dub. Came from the basement, we only going up. They loving us. Up in the booth, I'm getting dizzy, but they the cup is up. Toast to my people that's on the come up, and you live with us. Ain't all about the trigger bus. Looking at my watch, your spirit bomb, both hands is going up. You going coast to coast with us.